My passion really is for art and expression of self. For me, art is expressing what's in you in whatever way that comes out. My name's Simon O'Rourke. I am a wood sculptor, primarily using chainsaws, but not exclusively. I did a degree in illustration and needed work after my degree and ended up doing tree surgery with a friend of mine. That introduced me to the outdoor life, outdoor work, and it also introduced me to chainsaws, which was a game changer. What I really enjoyed was being outdoors and the medium of wood. I'd learned a lot about the biology of timber and how it grows, how it reacts. One day I saw somebody using the chainsaw to carve with, and it was that light bulb moment of, I think I know what I want to do here. I've been carving for around 22 years. Other than the practical side of using the chainsaw, for me it was a case of transferring my knowledge of two-dimensional art into 3 dimensions, and that was the most difficult thing for me. I use a massive variety of tools. To be honest, it's whatever removes timber. It's ranging from really tiny Dremel type tools with rotary burr, obviously the big chainsaws and things like that. But I've always maintained it's a little bit like having an array of paintbrushes. Ultimately, what I'm doing is subtractive sculpture. There's very few forms of subtractive sculpture in the world. You have stone, you have wood, and even though I do additions, the primary form of the sculpture is removing timber or removing material to reveal a shape. The expressiveness of the chainsaw, I find, is one of the main reasons why I absolutely love using it. I'm quite chaotic in the way I work, so I don't really finish a section of a sculpture and then move on to the next. I'm very expressive with the tools, and it is almost like sketching onto the wood. A lot of my work is timber that I source from people like tree surgeons who are taking it down for a good reason. One of the other aspects of my work is actually creating sculptures from trees that were in situ. A tree surgeon may have come in and taken a tree down and left a 10-foot stump or a 20-foot stump, and I will come in and carve something there and then. Wood, full stop, isn't an infinitely long-lasting material, so it will degrade over time, and that aging process, I find, is part of the beauty of it. You do get creatures living in it. You do get bacteria starting to form in it, and it becomes part of the ecology of wherever it is. It becomes part of that environment. With the creative process, it differs depending on whether the client has given me creative freedom or whether they have something very specific in mind. Carving this dragon that I'm carving at the moment, that in particular was a request from the client to say, I have a dragon on my coat of arms, I would like a dragon. He did give me creative freedom to put it in a different pose because I didn't like the heraldic pose, although we could do something much more interesting than that. My first thought is, what timber am I dealing with and what can I fit in it? Most timber is tube-like. You take that tube and you go, what can I fit within that tube? What design can I fit within that tube? The logistics of adding huge lumps of timber on is quite difficult. You know, pieces that might weigh 100 or 200 kilos, which you have to then use machinery to be able to lift into place and to actually get the cuts lined up, get it bolted on. So that there's a lot of kind of logistics I have to think through and not just let my imagination run wild with an amazing image. Chainsaws are naturally a dangerous tool. There's up to 3,000 cutters passing one point in 1 second. So what that can do to flesh is unimaginable and horrible. I have accidentally slipped with the chainsaw once or twice and cut into my leg, but the trousers did the job. They stopped the chainsaw instantly. My primary focus would be get yourself the right protective equipment, chainsaw boots, chainsaw trousers, and ear protection and eye protection. I'm well known within my peer group for human form, and that's what I really love doing. So I really aspire to the really traditional classical sculptors going back to Renaissance periods like Michelangelo and Bernini, and people like that really inspire me as to the realism and the form and the proportion. It's always fascinating for me just to try and really focus in on the form and proportion, and I think that's what's really given me the reputation of creating sculptures that have a feel of being real. I've really enjoyed the ones that have impacted people. So the giant hand I carved at Lake Vyrnwy in Wales was quite a major turning point for me. It was the largest thing I've ever done. It's affected so many people, and I've had so many people contact me and say, thank you for making this. I had one lady turn up. She said she'd travelled from Australia. She did have family here, but her primary purpose of coming here was to go and look at that sculpture in reality. And it just blew my mind, really. The vastness of what can be created when you let your imagination go is, for me, much more exciting than anything I can tangibly create.